Hello, children. How are you all? I hope you all are fit and fine. Children, we know that because of this corona pandemic, all schools are closed, right? That is why we are missing our friends, our school, our teachers, our classmates. Yes or no? Children, in order to continue your study, we are going to start offline classes for you. If you haven't bought your textbooks and notebooks yet, please buy it as soon as possible. You need them to study, to write your written notes in your copies. Children, this year you all are in class 4, right? I know you all are very excited to learn new stories and poems. This year you have two books. One book is your crystal book, wherein you have 5 subjects altogether. And the second book is your grammar book. Children, I want you all to open your English textbook, chapter number 1, How I Taught My Grandmother to Read. I request you all to have a pencil with you so that wherever you find a new word, there you can underline and write the meaning over there. Clear? Today we are going to study English chapter number 1. The name of the story is How I Taught My Grandmother to Read. The children, those who are living with their grandparents, they spend their time with their grandparents. But few children are there, those who can spend their time with their grandparents in the vacations only, right? Sometimes our grandparents want to learn something from us. Nowadays, mobiles are there. They don't know how to operate mobile. And that time, you teach them how to operate the mobile. The story is written by Sudha Murthy. The writer and the narrator of this story is Sudha Murthy. Let's start the story. I have my book in front of me. You have to open your book in front of you and put your finger wherever I am reading. You can see in the picture the narrator is reading something for her grandmother. I am reading the story. My grandmother Krishataka never went to school, so she could not read. Every Wednesday, the magazine Karmavira would come and I would read the next episode of the story Kashi Yatre to her. During that time, she would forget all her work and listen with the greatest concentration. Later, she could repeat the entire text by heart. There is a new word, concentration. Concentration means to focus on something. The grandmother's name is Krishataka. Every Wednesday, the narrator used to get the magazine. What is the name of the magazine? The name of the magazine is Karmavira. Every Wednesday, the magazine Karmavira would come and she would read a story for her grandmother. What is the name of the story? The name of the story is Kashi Yatre. You might be watching serials on your television. Serials come on weekly basis. Suppose you are watching any serial on Monday, so you have to wait for the next episode of that serial till next Monday, right? Similarly, here every Wednesday in that Karmavira magazine, the narrator would read the story for her grandmother. The name of the story is Kashi Yatre. The grandmother would forget all her work and listen to the greatest concentration. She used to listen that story with great concentration. Concentration meaning I told you, concentration means to focus on something. Like when teacher tells you any story, you are listening it with great concentration, yes or no? Similarly, because the grandmother likes the story so much, that's why she used to listen that story with great concentration. And who was reading that story for grandmother? the narrator Sudha Murthy used to read that story for her grandmother. Let's move forward. Now see here children, narrator's grandmother, she never went to Kashi. Kashi is a holy city in India and it is also called as Varanasi. Yes, she started considering herself as a protagonist of that story. Which story? Kashi Yatre. Like for example, when you watch any movie, for example Superman or Spider-Man, after watching that movie, you behave like you are a Superman. You consider yourself as a protagonist of that story, right? Similarly, because the grandmother likes the story Kashi Yatre a lot, that's why she was considering as a protagonist of that story. Let's move forward. Once I was away for a week for a wedding in the neighboring village. You can turn the page, children. When I returned home, I saw my grandmother in tears. I was surprised, for I had never seen her cry even in the most difficult situations. What had happened? Avva, is everything all right? Are you okay? I used to call her Avva, which means mother in the Kannada spoken in North Karnataka. She nodded but did not reply. I did not understand and forgot about it. In the night, after dinner, we were sleeping on the open terrace of the house. It was a summer night and there was a full moon. Avva came and sat next to me and I asked her, "What is the matter, Avva?" Now children, see here in the second para, the narrator went for a wedding for a week. When she came back from the wedding, she was surprised. Why she was surprised? She was surprised because her grandmother was crying and she has never ever seen her grandmother crying in the most difficult situation also. And that is why she asked her grandmother, "Avva, is everything all right? Are you okay?" But grandmother did not reply anything. She just nodded her head. Clear? In most of the villages, in summer season, people used to sleep on the open terrace. Similarly, here, because it is a summer season, the narrator went to sleep on the open terrace. Grandmother came and she sat next to her. At that time, the narrator asked her grandmother, "What happened, Avva? What's the matter?" Let's see what happened next. When I was a young girl, Avva said, "I lost my mother. My father was a busy man and got married again. In those days, people never considered education essential for girls, so I never went to school. I got married very young and had children. I became very busy. Later, I had grandchildren and always felt so much happiness in cooking and feeding all of them. At times, I used to regret not going to school, so I made sure that my children and grandchildren studied well." So children, here a new word has come, that is a regret. What is the meaning of regret? Regret means feeling sad, feeling disappointed. In this third para, the grandmother tells the narrator why she was crying. She tells her granddaughter that when she was a young girl, she lost her mother and her father was a busy man and got married again. What did she tell again? In that time, people never considered education essential for girls, and that is why the grandmother did not go to school. She married very young and had children. and she became very busy in feeding and in taking care of those children. Later also, she never feel regret about being illiterate. About being illiterate means she did not go to school. That is why she could not read anything. So she was not regretting about this. But now she is regretting because she could not read anything. See, let's move forward. Next para I am reading. You please pay attention. I could not understand why my 62-year-old grandmother was telling me, a 12-year-old, the story of her life in the middle of the night. But I knew I loved her immensely, and there had to be some reason why she was talking to me. See, you can see in the story, she came back and she finds her grandmother is crying. When the narrator went to sleep on open terrace, the grandmother came and sat next to her and she started telling her what happened. She is asking her granddaughter's help to read. Children, immensely means in a great amount. Means she loves her grandmother very much. She loves her grandmother a lot. Grandmother is telling to her granddaughter that I have decided I want to learn the Kannada alphabet from tomorrow onwards. She puts a condition also in front of her daughter. What was that? Let's see in the next para. Awa, don't cry. What is the matter? Can I help you in any way? Yes, I need your help. I have decided to want to learn the Kannada alphabet from tomorrow onwards. I will work very hard. I will keep the Saraswati Puja day during Dasara as the deadline. That day, I should be able to read a novel on my own. I want to be independent. See children, what grandmother tells to her granddaughter? She wants to learn the Kannada alphabet and she will do hard work to learn. Till the Sahara, she will be able to read the book. She will read a novel on her own because she wants to become independent. I saw the determination on her face, yet I laughed at her. Now, Sudhamurthy, the narrator, could see the determination. You can underline the word desire, wish. She was very surprised. At the age of 62, her grandmother wants to learn to read. You might have seen the wrinkles on your grandparents' face. Yes or no? The narrator made fun of her grandmother, but her grandmother just smiled. Let's see what happened next. For a good cause, if you are determined, you can overcome any obstacle. I will work harder than anybody, but I will do it. For learning, there is no age bar. See children, if you determined anything to do or to understand or to read, nobody can stop you. Or we can say you can overcome any obstacle. There is a new word, obstacle. Underline that new word. Obstacle means nobody can stop you to learn that thing. Let's see what happens next. You can see in the image, the next day onwards, I started my tuition. Awa was a wonderful student. The amount of homework she did was amazing. She would read, repeat, write and recite. I was her only teacher and she was my first student. Little did I know then that one day I would become a teacher of computer science and teach hundreds of students. See children here. Now the narrator started to teach her grandmother reading. Okay. The amount of homework she did was amazing. What the narrator used to give her as a homework, she used to do it each and everything. She is a writer. She has written many stories and she is a teacher also. She is a teacher of computer science and she teaches hundreds of students. Next, move forward. The Dasera festival came as usual. Secretly, I bought Kashi Yatre, which had been published as a novel by that time. My grandmother called me to the puja place and made me sit down on a stool. She gave me a gift of a frock material. Here in this picture, you can see, that the grandmother has put the condition till Dasera she will be able to read a novel. She likes that Kashi Yatre story which used to come in that magazine. That is why the granddaughter presented a storybook Kashi Yatre to her grandmother. See, which had been published as a novel by that time. My grandmother called me to the puja place and made me sit down on a stool. Now see, children, grandmother makes her granddaughter to sit on the stool and she bent down to touch her foot. Why did she do like this? Because her granddaughter was her teacher. She gave that respect to her teacher. For her, her granddaughter was her teacher. Yes or no? And that's why she made her granddaughter to sit on a stool. She bent down and she touched her feet. Let's move forward. Then she did something unusual. She bent down and touched my feet. I was surprised and taken aback. Elders never touch the feet of youngsters. Let's see with the help of image. See, you can see in the picture, the grandmother bent down and she touched her feet because she is giving respect to her teacher. For her, her teacher is her granddaughter and that's why she bent down. She was surprised and she moved aback because according to her, elders never touch the feet of youngsters. Yes or no? We also consider that we do not touch the feet of our youngsters. We touch the feet of our elders. Right? She said, I am touching the feet of a teacher, not my granddaughter. A teacher who taught me so well, with so much of affection, and I can read any novel confidently in such a short period. Now I am independent. It is my duty to respect a teacher. See, children, as I told you, that grandmother is giving respect to her teacher. Let's see next. With the help of image, we'll try to understand what happens next. Granddaughter has presented a novel Kashi Yatre to her grandmother. See the last para. Please pay attention over there. I did return namaskar to her by touching her feet and gave my gift to my first student. Now here grandmother was the first student of the narrator and that is why she has given a gift to her. What she has gifted her? She has gifted a storybook, a novel, that is Kashi Yatre, to her grandmother. She opened it and read immediately the title Kashi Yatre by Triveni and the publisher's name. I knew then that my student had passed with flying colors. And the narrator is saying, after giving that gift, when the grandmother opened the gift, she saw that it was a novel, Kashi Yatre, which she was liking a lot. She saw that book, she saw that novel and she was very happy. And now she can read the novel on her own. And here the story gets end. Children, I hope you all have understood the story. Now I want you all to read this story twice. Okay. See here, I am telling you how to write in your copy. Can you see the margin over here? See students, here you have to write down day and date. Clear? Then here over the margin, you are going to write the name of the story. Like here lesson number 1 and the name of the story. Okay. Here on the next line, give a hyphen and write there the name of the writer. That is, who is the writer of this story? Sudha Murty. So you will write over here Sudha Murty. Next, leave a line and write there word meanings. Clear? Next, you are going to frame sentences for those new words. For your understanding, I am going to give you some examples, okay? And for the remaining new words, you have to frame sentences. Later, on the next page, you are going to write the question answers of this story. And you have to write in the sequence. Okay, I hope you all have understood. Or in the next session, we are going to study the remaining exercises of this story. So till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.